Morning, kid. Oh, Super D. Wow, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Miss Julie. I've been having a lot of fun with you and the Sunday school kids.
That's wonderful. We've enjoyed having you too.
Yeah, but I have a question about something that
Sure.
I've seen recently.
Sure. How do you do that? Right? Guess that's why I'm not Super D. Okay. Oh,
What are
pews.
these? What?
Pews. What are you doing?
Do I smell bad?
No, you don't smell bad. Those are pews. Were you wondering about pews, church pews?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I've seen them, and I haven't seen them anywhere else. And I'm kind of wondering, why do churches have this?
Oh, why do we have pews?
Yeah.
Okay, not the smelly kind.
Not the smelly
right.
kind, I guess.
Well, churches haven't always had pews. In fact, Jesus' disciples never sat in pews, and Jesus wouldn't have even recognized what a pew was. I think it was more than 1,000 years after churches were first established that we first started seeing pews as seating in churches. Want to check your book?
I suppose we could.
Can I open it?
Not this time.
I didn't think so.
Okay, I'm excited to see what this says. At first, church pews were stone areas carved out of the walls along the side of the church. They served as seating for priests and other church leaders in the service who needed somewhere to sit because they led several services during the day.
That makes sense.
Later, more pews, still made of stone, appeared along more of the walls. After some time, pews were eventually constructed in the center of the sanctuary, but these were just for older people or people who weren't strong enough to stand. No one who was healthy or strong ever sat down. Finally, pews began to be made of wood and placed throughout the church for members, old and young. Wow, that's great. Pews for all.
Well, it was kind of good news and bad news, because when churches figured out that they could construct pews out of wood, they realized they'd make great fundraisers. So churches would sell pews to people, and they would own those pews. And the pews would belong to them, and they and their kids, their families would use the pews. And when they died, they could actually leave their pews to their families, to their kids in their wills. The problem with that, with doing pews that way, is that the wealthiest people always got the best seats in the house for years and years and years. And churches finally figured out that wasn't very fair, so they decided to take back ownership of pews and said people couldn't own their own pews. So it was much better.
I'm glad they did that.
Yeah, much more fair.
I mean, we have pews like this for hundreds of years. Why do we still have this kind of seating?
Well, I think part of it's tradition. When we, like you said in the beginning, when we think of churches, we think of pews. And I think churches are really beautiful in their simplicity. Very simple, very beautiful. And when we're sitting in a pew, we're reminded that it's not about our seating, it's about focusing on God. But what else does your book say?
Let's see here. Pew seating in churches is also very practical. First, you can fit more people into a pew than into individual chairs, and they tend to last longer than chairs, so they can be more practical. And many adults find they can stretch out better in pews.
And for kids, too, take a look. Oh, Super D. You see, it's easier for kids to stretch out in pews, too. So as you see, pews really can be just beautiful.
Really, Miss Julie? I'll see you next week.
It was great seeing you kids. See you next week. Bye.